So what do you guys really quickly, because I know Aaron, you're going to have to leave us here. What do you guys want to see tonight in rounds 2 and 3? Like, what is your ideal um, picks for rounds 2 and 3? And if you don't want to say a player, you can say a position. You can do it either way. What's your ideal for tonight? You'll be happy if we walk away with what or who?
I would love to see Muma at 50 and possibly trade up right by him to get Pickens or Watson. That would be ideal. We've only got one pick in the third now.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
Would you trade that to move up?
I'm assuming we would have to
I mean,
move up
we
11
could
picks.
we could dip into next year's. You know, I I could see us trading our third rounder next year to move up simply because Veach knows he's going to get a supplemental third rounder for the Ryan Pace hire, right? And so that's a possibility. Um, that one's free money. We could end up with two, if the enemy finally got hired, but we know we're going to have at least one from the Ryan Pace hiring. So I could see them willing to give up their third rounder to move up, tonight for that. Um,
So that wasn't 103. What was 103 for? Or was that
103.
the, yeah, for this year?
I don't remember if that
Is
was
that for a player?
that was probably no, that was probably supplemental. You get it 2 years in a row.
Oh,
Yeah, they changed it, so it's 2 years that you get the supplemental third rounder
okay.
for front office or a what coordinator or head coach hire,
Head coach.
front office or head coach hire. So it's 2 years in a row now. They changed it. So yeah, our second third was from the Ryan Pace hire, and then we'll have another third next year supplemental for the Ryan Pace hire as well. So one possibility could be trading up with Seattle. They have two picks in a row in the 40s.
40 and 41. We're 39 and 40.
Yeah, something like that. It's like
I
right
know
at the
they have 40.
40, 41, I think, something like that. Yeah, 40 and 41. Um, we'd probably have to package, it looks like, yeah, we probably have to package at least 50 and 62, and probably at least next year's third. Maybe 103 and next year's third for that.
And keep 62 or 62 is already.
No, yeah, we'd probably have to include 50, 62. Um, what did I just say?
Oh,
Next
wow.
year's next year's third and 103.
Both seconds, I would rather not.
Well, I mean, you're moving up to the 40 and 41, so you're going to have to give up the 2 seconds, you know, and then just be a matter of also uh, throwing in your supplemental third this year and your third next year.
So what if we got to 51 from 62?
That would be, see, 62 is worth 84 points in the Rich Hill trade chart, up to 51
Hmm.
with so you need 16. 28 points. That's basically the value of 121 that we gave to the Patriots last night. So,
127.
So if we had
I'm thinking of trades. I think
one
for
one
mock drafts.
135, 135, and then probably a fourth rounder next year.
That's how many mock drafts I did. I'm getting confused on our actual picks now.
When I when
Yes.
I when I do those trades though, like when I do trades on mock drafts, I like to either move instead of, always exchanging picks or giving up extra picks, I like to move back and forth, to create that equal value. So, um, if I have a pick at the beginning of a round and I'm wanting to gain extra value, I'm willing to swap picks and gain, later in that round. Kind of like what the Lions did with that Vikings trade, which Gooch and I were talking about was absolutely insane. And if I was a Vikings fan, I'd be so angry right now because they let the Lions give up. Essentially, the Lions gave up, what was it? What was it now? They gave up pick 34 to move up 20 spots in the first and 20 spots in the second, which they gained a lot of extra value on that. Minnesota lost bad, which was bad enough, but this is divisional rivals. And you make a bad trade with the divisional rival, and then that bad trade leads to them getting Jamison Williams. And it's kind of like, what are you thinking, Vikings? Like, what's the deal? Were you that desperate to trade back? And if you were, Brett Veach, you should have been on the phone with him. But I'm also concerned about that for Jamison's health. The Lions play on turf, and Jamison's going to be coming back from a serious knee injury, and I'm really concerned about that, for him.
With good reason. Plus, they have a quarterback that will lay you out to get hit.
Well, and maybe he doesn't see the field this year, and he doesn't have to worry about it, and they have a new quarterback by the time that happens.
I could definitely see that. There's one out
Anyway,
there that's pretty good that I thought they were going to take with 32 since they didn't take him earlier. And that's Malik Willis. He's the only other quarterback I had with a first round grade.
I had him as a first round grade, but it wasn't because I saw him as having a first round grade, if that makes sense, right? Because it's like when you throw in the positional value to it, right, it bumps quarterbacks up because no matter how good they are, they just get a little extra tacked on. Now,
Absolutely.
I didn't follow this rule when I did running backs because I let Breece Hall slip into the first, even though taking the positional value in there, it knocks him back. But yeah, I was surprised
And how
that
does
we
that
only saw
feel?
one quarterback go.
He's your rival, and you're all about Breece Hall.
I am not, I don't care. Gooch gave me a hard time saying, of course I like Hall because I'm an Iowa boy and he's an Iowa boy, but Iowa and Iowa State absolutely hate each other. And so, you know, to like an Iowa State player, I mean, to me, it shows something. But if I had a draft crush, and I have a few in this draft, he's one of them. He is everything our offense needs out of a running back. He is the anti Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And so I am all over this pick. I saw some mock drafts with the Bills taking them at 25, and I was really concerned they were. And, I still think they might tonight. I
They
just did a
can't
mock.
develop running backs, obviously. Anyway, I'm not. He is good though.
I don't know that he needs much development, but I did a mock tonight or earlier today, and it had the Packers taking him, which I'm like, why would the Packers? They have two good running backs.
He's a big dude, and he can run, and then he's got the hands. Yeah,
He
that kid's good.
he's one of a few players who both has a perfect score on Roth score, relative athletic score, and a perfect score by next gen stats. Like these, he has a great athletic profile. He has good tape. He has good hands to be a receiver. He's 6'1". Clyde is 5'6". I still think that's why Pat won't throw him the ball, but he's 6'1". He's got it. He's got, what does he not have? He's an explosive runner, and we need that out of the running back position in this offense the way we're being defended.
Yes.
He's a 3-down back.
Gooch looked like he wanted to give you some more crap. Where you at, Gooch? Where'd you go?
And as Thunder Dan said, he played with the crappy college quarterback. Everybody knew there were two players on that offense.
Take care of some business. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was listening to you two nerds go at it, analytics and all that.
Oh, he wanted to
players
give
on
both
that
of us
offense.
crap. I'm
What's
good
that?
with that. I said he wanted to give both of us crap. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So Gooch, what do you want to see happen tonight?
I would like to see, I know it's a long shot. I would really like to see George Pickens become a Chief. After that, honestly,
And we may have to get in the 40s for that.
I actually think he should just jump. Look, I would never. One of the few times ever, if you know our relationship, will I agree with Keas on any one thing. But I noticed a certain running back was not taken in the first round. I feel like you package a pick or two and Clyde, and you go get that. What's his name? Is it Breece Hall? I don't want to mess his name.
Yes.
See, even Gooch can pronounce his
You got
name.
it right. On purpose, even.
And then jump back and get Pickens. And then after that, I don't care. Because me personally, I think if you just looked at it, Andy, Bolton, Gay, and DOD. And 10 years of good linebacking. I mean, oh, you got look, okay. DOD don't understand the playbook. Fine.
They won't let him.
Every time he goes out there, you say, that part of the field is yours. Hit the man with the football. I guarantee you.
Anytime they've had him in, that's what he does.
Right.
He doesn't get these, bounce off.
Right.
Get another 8 to 12 yards.
That's just me. I mean, that's what I would like to see. Get rid of Clyde, because Clyde is not going to be it. We all know it. Not going to pick up his fifth-year option. Get him. Let's see what he's got. Then you can keep Gore as a backup. It's kind of a change of pace, battering ram. Get you Pickens to learn behind. Well, not even to learn behind. Learn with Juju and MVS and whatever. And then when you decide that you're not going to pay Juju and MVS anymore because they're getting towards 30, you've got a young stud behind them. Hardman is going to be what he's going to be. But it fills a purpose with this offense. and I'm okay with that.
I think he has his best season yet.
But I also think that he's getting up there. I really think that by next year there will not be a single Chief over the age of 29. I think the key is to keep everybody young around Mahomes, even as Mahomes gets to 30. Keep them young, keep them elite, and if you can get them before you get that second contract when they're 28, 29, you don't have to pay them into their 30s. Go get what you can get out of them and go younger.
Did anybody else think we were trading up to get Jermaine Johnson?
I thought we were trading up. Oh, you mean after Jameson?
Well, yeah. At 21.
I actually did, believe it or not. I actually thought that's who I thought we were getting.
It was like, oh, well, I'll take him too.
Yeah, I thought either Johnson or Wyatt is who they were going to go after there. Well,
and Wyatt would have been nice too. Put him next to Chris Jones.
And who
Try
knows
running up the middle.
if the Packers hadn't taken him right before we picked Karlaftis, maybe that's someone they were looking at that they would have considered, but it sounded like, at least when he was on the board, that he was their pick, because Veach talked about, they had a trade back offer, but they didn't take it because they started doing the math and of trading back up to get Karlaftis a tad bit later than where they picked him, because they had him as a second round grade. So it sounded like at that point that that was their guy, and that's the reason they didn't trade back at all, because they did the math there. Now, I think it goes without saying what I want to see tonight, and that is Breece Hall in a Chiefs uniform, and then you can pick up some of those extra picks, Aaron, that we would have to give up, say, to move up with Seattle and get those two, because then you turn around and you trade Clyde like it's a no-brainer. Take
so
Breece Hall.
When are you thinking for Breece Hall? Yeah,
I would take Breece Hall and Christian Watson. I would trade up with Seattle, get both of their picks. I would take them both in the second round.
So 40s.
When
40
we took
41.
when we took Clyde, who was not worthy of being a first round draft pick, Jonathan Taylor and I'm slipping. The running back from the Lions took from, was it Georgia? I had him on my fantasy team too. This is terrible. DeAndre. I can't think of him.
Swift.
Yeah, Swift, Taylor, and I want to say another running back went like late 30s, early 40s. So I think being the top running back, well, and he might not be the top running back on the Chiefs, or anybody's board, because I know that there are some who have Spiller on there, but I have reasons for not liking Spiller on there. Again, a perfect Ross score and next gen score that combines both productivity and athletic profile. So yeah, I would move up to both of Seattle's picks there, and get him, and I would get Christian Watson, because as Gooch said, speed and size at receiver. And I don't care.
Definitely has those.
I don't care what. I know I've heard a lot of Chiefs fans talk about Sky Moore. I don't care.
No,
Let me tell you.
Oh, please, no.
He is 5'9". We don't need to be getting shorter again. We don't need someone shorter than Tyreek or Cole. He is 5'9".
This is how fickle we are with fans. Man, we love Tyreek. We wish he was taller. Tyreek wants more money. We get taller receivers. Okay, great. Now we just need shorter corners. This would be the perfect team. And then during the season, why don't we have big corners?
But at least Tyreek could jump up, right? Sky Moore is 5'9", and he only has a 34-inch vertical.
So in other words, he can jump as high as Aaron on his best day.
Or as Dan Harms on his injured knees. But then you
I'm
add
nowhere
in
close to 34. Come on.
Then you add in, he had a very poor shuttle time and a very poor 3-cone time.
Well, then how does that translate to let's take him?
So short, no vertical. He runs a 4.4
Not
40.
quick.
Yeah, he has good 20 and 10-yard split times and a good 40 time.
So we do the little
He has no
3 and 5 yard passes.
direction.
Now, George Pickens. I'll give my case against George Pickens.
Oh,
Okay.
you got a case against George Pickens? I'd love to hear this.
Yeah, outside of having already injured his ACL before. George Pickens. Oh, sorry, wrong person. George Pickens has 8 3/4 inch hands. He's got the height. He's a little thin. His vertical is even worse than Sky Moore, which is what happens when you're 6'3".
Yeah, that pushed me a little.
His vertical is 33 inches. He ran a 4.47 40, and his 20 and 10-yard splits were good, but not, elite level. They weren't poor, though, either. Christian Watson. Okay, Gooch, you ready? Christian Watson is 6'4", 208, so he can gain a little bit, but he's still 13 pounds heavier than Pickens. 38.5-inch vertical. 6'4", 38.5-inch vertical. 11 on the broad jump. 4.36 40 out of a 6'4" guy who can jump 38.5 inches.
I want you to know, doing this, you're proving my point against McNugget.
Not really, but regardless, his 20-yard and 10-yard splits were elite level as well. The one knock on him that I have athletically is he didn't compete. He didn't even try to do the shuttle or 3-cone, which makes me wonder there. But at 6'4", would we use him in such a way where that would matter?
You know what he sounds like to me? John Ross of the Baltimore Ravens when he was drafted.
He's much bigger, though.
And Pickens sounds like Keyshawn Johnson. And Jerry Rice didn't have huge hands either. I'm just putting it out there.
All right, let's look at John Ross's Ross score. John Ross was 5'10", so 6 inches shorter than Christian Watson. 188 pounds, so 20 pounds lighter. Obviously, he was quicker with the 4.22 40. His vertical was 37 inches, so 6 inches shorter and 1.5 inches shorter on the vertical. That's 7.5 inches shorter from what he can go up and get the ball. Their broad jump was the same. Hand size, 8 3/4 inches, so the same as George Pickens. So maybe John Ross and Pickens are a little bit closer together.
Pickens' hands are that small?
8 3/4.
Wow.
Same as John Ross.
That I don't care for as a receiver. I don't get it so much with quarterbacks.
You don't need small hands to catch a foot. I mean, you don't need large hands to catch a football.
It
I
sure
don't
helps,
Need
though.
them, but they
I don't
help.
have large hands, but they're soft as a baby's ass, and I can catch anything thrown my way.
Oh, we know that because you've caught COVID, what, 15 times now?
Just twice, maybe a third.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
I'm sorry. That was a bad joke.
No, it's actually funny. I liked it. Aaron did too.
So, you guys don't want a linebacker like Muma? We're talking about receivers, but
I mean,
yeah.
I honestly don't think, in my personal opinion, there's not a lot of value in linebackers. You can pick one up in 5th or 6th round and run with it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's a lot of guys that seem to be similar. That I don't think you have to go that, and if what we talked about were to happen, to where Ingram was your third linebacker on early downs and then went to the defensive line. And even if not, I think that's the problem, right? Because we're in base maybe 25% of the time, 25% of the time, and the other 75% of the time, we're probably only going to have Bolton and Gay or one of those two on the field. So if that linebacker, for me, it needs to be someone who's a linebacker safety hybrid to make it make sense.
Ingram is old and too big to play linebacker, in my opinion. He's got some speed to get around the edge, but I don't know about coming downhill or covering anybody.
Well, again, we were talking about on rundowns only, right? And then on passing downs, he slips up to the line because we're not going to have 3 linebackers on the field in passing downs. We're going to nickel or dime, and we're getting rid of at least one linebacker anyway. So
but that's how they get you to stop doing that.
If you have a linebacker who either goes to safety or defensive end, problem solved.
Sorry, man.
And he was a 3-4 linebacker his whole career, so he was used to that, Aaron.
Okay. How long of a career? He's still got some in the tank, don't get me wrong.
He had the most juice of anyone I saw on the defense last year. I mean, other than Bolton. I mean, our defensive line, when you looked at Melvin Ingram every play compared to the rest of our defensive line, this guy, he looked like a 21-year-old who was told that he's not going to make it in the NFL. That's how he looked to me. Every play, he went at it, and he was winning matchups in Spags' system. So, I mean, Spags wasn't even, we're going to hypothetically say Spags wasn't even properly utilizing him because he was still learning him, what he could do as the season went. And Ingram, he brought it every down, in my opinion.
You still have to trust him to possibly cover a running back or tight end. Chances are running back.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's risky, in my opinion.
Well, we were relying on Ben Neiman to do that last year. So,
good point.
Neiman and Sorensen.
Well said.
Him or Sorensen. Well, they could be in good position But that ball's going to get by him. Or they're going to bounce off the freaking guy.
Or Sorensen is going to run and try to get him some water so he can be hydrated.
Here you go. Got you some water. Oh, you're gone.
Yeah. You're no longer here. My man.